All right, this is Wolfgang Kankowski, co-founder of the PM Systems Conference, and I actually have the opportunity today to interview my business partner, my friend, and the original founder of the PM Systems Conference, Paul Kankowski. And I'm excited about this because I think it's always good to understand the why. Why was this conference created, and learn a little bit more about Paul and what he's bringing to the conference this year. So Paul, tell us a little bit about you in about a minute and why you created this conference.
So I created this conference because my system sucked. They were awful and I needed to get them better. I mean, that was the main reason. It was just, I'm cheap. And I asked on Facebook, is there anyone that wants to go up and have this speaker that was like $4,000 a day, and we split the cost? And so we split the cost, and I was driving back and people were like, oh my God, it was the best event ever. It was so amazing. And that's how the conference got started. Very, very randomly, not because I was, oh my gosh, I was the systems guru. Someone said process Paul. I was crap process Paul before I started working on my processes. So, and by making my systems better, I increased the valuation of my company. I was able to take myself out of day-to-day work. Since I've created my systems, I sold my company. I worked for the company that bought my company. I have since semi-retired from that, and now I've been spending pretty much my full time working on this conference and skiing. Like, those are the conference skiing. Like, that's pretty much where me and you go at. Like, we don't work in February on this conference, but in January I will ski, and then we'll get off the slopes, and I will work on this thing. It's a great thing. It's been a great life.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I love your humility in saying, yeah, my processes were garbage, because I think we have all been there. And there are a lot of people out there that realize, like, I'm drowning, I'm over my head, I have 200 doors, I somehow got to 200 doors, and I'm not making money, I'm stressed out, this sucks, I want out. And this could be the solution for them. So what kind of brief overview, what separates this conference from others, and why is it important to you to have the format that we have?
Well, real quickly before that, when I sold my company, I actually wasn't working in my company. So it was weird because I didn't want out. I didn't think I was going to sell it. It just was a really random thing that happened, and I did it. So getting good process and procedures in, you can pretty much, it's like selling your company, just someone else is doing it. Someone else is doing the work. You can still own your company and not work day to day. I skied more the year before I sold my company and did more than I did after I did, because then I started working for a person who bought me, and I was working 40, 50 hours a week again. So it's so important to create a good process procedures so that you can have a life again as an owner.
Yeah, absolutely. And so my experience in education before PM, how have we used that to make the conference what it is?
Well, that's why I made you co-founder, because me and you were very much alike. I like working with you.
So I shouldn't say I don't ski as much as you do, but.
No, you don't ski, but you like people, and you like to teach people, and you understand that people don't learn by listening to this podcast, except for 15% of them. 60 to 70% of our learning modalities are by hands-on. If you were to talk to me about some product and I wasn't had it in my hand, when I'm going through a presentation with any vendor, I'm on the computer with them. I don't listen to them. I just sit there and I work on it while they're doing it. And if they can't teach me that way, if they want to just present to me, then I can't learn. So it's a matter of, I know I have to touch, I have to feel. That's important to me. And I know that when I was teaching math, that was important to those kids. Those kids didn't learn well. If I just went, 2 plus 2 is 4. They could memorize it eventually, and I didn't do 2 plus 2. I was much higher than that. But let's just say I would much rather have them take 2 beans and hold them in their hand and be like, oh my gosh, these beans equal 4, because I can count them out. Because then they're feeling it. By just watching me on the board, you don't learn.
Yeah. So having hands-on is definitely a differentiator for this conference, and technology is a key part. So what's some of the tech that you were using in your company? What's your go-to piece of technology that you use in PM?
Well, I had AppFolio, I had Lead Simple. I love those, but my favorite technology, and it was Tina Turner. because Tenant Turner made it so I didn't show properties anymore. And and not that I was showing properties at the time anyways, but that we got more efficient. And I remember 2 months before I went to completely not showing properties, I had an incident where pretty much someone wanted to kill me, showing a property. And it made me really, think about it, because people were like, oh, what if someone steals the fridge? And I'm like, what if someone kills me? I don't give a crap.
Yeah, what is more important than a fridge?
Yeah, I'll pay for the fridge. But I had someone, and I remember going to a NARPM conference right after it, and I got to see all my people, and I was having serious panic attacks at the time because, they were calling and threatening me, and it was a bad situation. And so that's why when I say my go-to software, first off, Tenant Turner, I love those guys. They really care about us. And yeah, did we have some issues every once in a while? Yeah, but they were responsive and we worked. You're going to have issues in property management no matter what you do. But the crooks out there are always trying to get ahead of us. And we always got to try to get ahead of the crooks. And what I found is when I price my properties right, when I market them right, when I had good systems in place, we got our properties right in 7 to 10 days. The crooks didn't have time to do bad stuff to my properties. If my property's on the market for 2-3 months, then yes, they're going to go get squatters and they're going to do lots of bad stuff. But we had so many people going through. So that was my go-to software because of the situation I was in. And I will happily tell people that situation of why I love that.
Yeah. And you're not only one of the founders of the conference, but you're going to be a speaker this year. Give us a taste of what you'll be speaking on. What's kind of the content that you'll be sharing with everybody and then coaching them on?
Well, one of the first things I'm doing, I did this one at Cal NARPM, and it was really well received. And it was where I had my renewal process. And my renewal process before I had a system was Christine did it. And we didn't mess with Christine. She took care of it. She did it. She had it on spreadsheets. She was amazing at it. But we didn't make any money because we didn't enforce a lot of things because, it just wasn't where we made, it wasn't a money factor. Well, in order to take it away from Christine, I first had to take it completely away from her. And Christine's my wife, just so you guys know. Wasn't an employee. She's my wife. There were certain things when I started the company that she did a couple things here and there. And that was the last thing that we took away from her. And trust me, she kept telling me, please fire me, because she wanted to be fired from it. She was doing it as a favor. But we made this process so amazing, and we were able to get so much more money out of it. It made us so much more money because we had all these emails and texts and everything that the tenants automated. And part of the residence benefits package was that they got a free renewal process, but they had to do it 30 days in advance. If they went to day 29, there was fee after fee after fee. And what happened was, a lot of times they would say, well, you guys just told me about the renewal at day 35. How do you expect me to have the inspection done? How do you expect me to have this? How do you expect me to have all these things done? And we'd be like, oh, yeah, we'll waive it. Or we didn't charge it because it wasn't even in the process. But then once we started at day 90, and we had, okay, you're doing a virtual interior assessment, not inspection. I shouldn't have said that word. I've been out of that game too long because that's a bad word in my company. We got in trouble with inspection. Assessment. When we did the virtual assessment, we did all that. That's another thing I'm going to be teaching at this event is how we did virtual assessments. We didn't do virtual assessments at all times, but I had a guy in Mexico doing my assessments through using Z-Inspector software and with the tenant. And the tenant could opt for a inspection where we came into the house personally. That was a fee for that. But, we were happy to do that too. And then with those virtual inspections, a lot of times those would turn to real inspections because I keep saying inspection. I would got slapped in the face back. Assessment, those would turn into real assessments depending on what happened with the virtual one. But so that's some of the things I'll be talking about. There's other things I'll be talking about. The Tenant University, I did that last year. People loved it when I did it because the Tenant University, if you go to my Tenant University, I have a session where I'm going to show you my Tenant University, go through it. And I have a session where I'm going to just be coaching. And you're going to finish it while you're there. You're going to finish everything but the videos. And you're going to be able to Tenant University. And our tenants would go through this university and they get a certificate at the end and everything. Kind of like, woohoo, you graduated. But it basically goes through everything that is our policies, what we would have in the lease that they never read. But it was videos and it was ways that did it in very short bursts. And they had to follow it. And if they had their move-in meeting day and they didn't have the Tenant University done, we would call them and be like, we're going to have to reschedule your move-in until you finish the tenant university, and there's going to be a fee for that. And guess what? They got it done that day. Now, whether they clicked through it, whatever they did, they could still skip it, but they still had to at least have the videos playing and watch them. I mean, they could have been watching SportsCenter while they were doing it, but it was just more things that not only did we give you a lease, but you graduated from the tenant university. So when you got mad about our fees at the end or whatever it was, and so then at the end of Cal NARPM, I finished my renewals, and this guy walks up to me and he goes, Matt, you're talking about you showed us the economics, you showed us the money you made. He's like, I was just thinking you probably had 2-star reviews because you probably were a horrible company because you charged all these fees, and you had like 4.7 stars. Like, how do you have 4.7 stars and charge these fees? And I said, because of the service we gave. Like, people will pay money if they get good service. Right. People won't pay good money if they get bad service. If we don't tell you 90 days in advance about the renewal and we don't keep reminding you and then we charge you a fee, we're jerks. But if we give you clear expectations of what's going to happen and we do it very easily because we have a system in place, we can charge you that fee and you're like, oh man, it's my fault. They told me 8 times. And you pay it happily. So that's kind of where I'm going. I love it. I love all the stuff that we were going to be talking about. I'm going to be doing stuff on ChatGPT on the early stages for the beginners. You're going to be doing the advanced stuff. We're going to be doing lots of technology, but I love technology and I love all different types of technology. And we have some amazing people coming to this event that they do technology better than me. Like Matthew Kammeyer, he's never spoke at any event, but I've got to learn from Matthew so much throughout my career. And he's like, oh, I'm not a speaker. I can't talk at these things. And I'm like, Matthew, you run an amazing company. You love technology, and people don't need a polished speaker. They need to know someone who kicks ass in their company and can tell them how they're doing it. And you're great at showing. You showed me so many things. And I mean, like just like you were great at showing me stuff in the past. So that's kind of where we're at. I mean, I know I'll stop. Sorry.
No. I think for people to see the passion and the excitement, not only in the topics that will be taught by you, but then also in the conference in general, because it's not this whole journey, this whole conference is the passion and giving back to the industry, not so much about a business vertical or anything like that. It's strictly that helping people, because we've both been there where we realize things aren't going the way that I want in my business and it needs to change, and tracing it back to, your processes and then the policy, and now creating an environment where it's not just, hey, read this book about processes, or here's some handouts, here's a PowerPoint, but here's a little bit of instruction about a key component, and then let's actually work on it. Let's build it, and you will leave the conference with some processes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so excited about this event. I do this event for the passion of it. I mean, I could flip a house and be a lot less work and make a lot more money. But I love seeing people come and be leaving excited. I love the fact that we had 14 people, 12 people, something like that at the very first conference, and I think 7 of them haven't missed one yet. 7 of the 14. So it's just like, that makes me really excited. I love that Matthew Kammeyer was one of the original ones. He was one of the original ones. Roy Molnex's speaker is one of the original ones. And they've been to every conference. Matthew missed one when he was having surgery, and he was very mad he missed it. But that's the only time he missed because he was in surgery. So it's like, we've had some really cool people that, after going 8 times, we're like, hey, we want you to speak because we want you to show what you've done in the last 8 years. Because, a lot of us, Matthew, Julie, me, we were all in the same boat, just different amount of properties. Julie had about twice as many properties, but they were just as disorganized as me with 100 properties. And we all kind of grew together over those 7-8 years to really understand systems and understand how we can do it. And then that's the awesome part. It makes me excited. Watching people grow and watching people, if yours your first time coming, you're going to learn so much. You're going to want to come back. And your biggest complaint, which I hope everybody has, is there was too many options, too many choices, and I didn't get to see everything I wanted to do at the conference. That's my goal. My goal is to give you such a big buffet that you can't eat anymore. And that will be exciting.
Yeah, because I can eat, so that's no. It's going to be good.
Now. We're gonna we keep you right here with us. We're gonna keep you doing it.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate the opportunity to interview you, and I think it's great that people get to hear a little bit of the backstory of how this conference was created, why we have it, why it's set up the way that it is, and then to hear about what you'll be sharing at the PM Systems Conference this year. So people can go to pmsystemconference.com. They can see the agenda. They can see bios about each speaker. The interviews we've done with each speaker can be found there. So there's a lot of great resources so that you can make an informed decision.
And Paul Rocks, $100 off. You got to remember that.
Paul Rocks with a capital P. Paul Rocks. You'll save $100 on your registration fee. So make sure you use that.
You guys have a wonderful day.
All right.